Hello everyone, GuardianE here with an analysis and breakdown video for the latest and long-awaited upgrade to Bewitching Beauty Camilla in Fire Emblem Heroes. Now, as many of you know, this particular update has me extremely excited and has a special place in my heart, so let's dive in and take a look together at the brand new Camilla's Axe refinement and how it can be used in some practical builds. At the start of the game, well before skill inheritance was a thing, Camilla was one of the original physical nukers, using her native Brave Axe Plus to take down threats quickly, with Savage Blow in the wings to wear down the opposing enemy team. Post-skill inheritance, the role has been mostly usurped by higher attacking Axe Flyers, relegating Camilla to taking advantage of her considerable speed and bulky balanced defensive stats. As such, many Camillas nowadays run Distant Counter and Slaying Axe Plus, to allow her to play an enemy phase role against a variety of both ranged and close-range threats, while proccing a devastating special in return. So let's take a quick look at what Camilla's Axe had to offer in Fire Emblem Fates. Camilla's Axe was a B-rank axe introduced in Fire Emblem Fates, which could only be wielded by female units in the game. It featured 12 might, with an 80% hit rate, and provided a +2 resistance boost. After combat, this axe would inflict a -2 debuff on the carrier's strength and skill stats, which would recover by 1 each following turn. Not a whole lot that's special here, to be completely honest. A moderate res boost with a substantial handicap afterwards, and a niche female-only axe. There has been a lot of speculation as to what Fire Emblem Heroes could do with such a weapon, whether it be to give a substantial res boost, give her innate buffs around female units, distant counter, or give her drive skills for flyers, similar to Kinshi Knight Hinoka. For me personally, I was hoping for a combined warding steady breath effect on her axe, which would improve her overall enemy phase matchups, while still giving her the added benefit of a quicker cooldown. As with Sheeta's refined wingsword, this buff would 1. Further enhance her existing role with stat boosts, and 2. Provide a flyer with a skill that's normally restricted against flyers. Let's take a look at what Intelligence Systems decided to do with Camilla's Axe. In Fire Emblem Heroes, Camilla's Axe has an interesting refinement, more in line with the recent Hinoka's Spear than Sheeta's Wingsword. The weapon features 16 might, like all legendary weapons, and by default has a self-goad effect, meaning that as long as a flying or cavalry ally is within 2 spaces, she gets a +4 boost to her attack and speed. Further, the unique refinement option available for Camilla's Axe will give her cavalry and flying allies a mini-goad of +3 attack and +3 speed. It's interesting that Intelligence Systems is so focused on increasing the viability of hybrid teams. While Hinoka's Spear had a guidance and self-buff effect for infantry, Camilla has one for cavalry. In both cases, each unit still excels more in a flyer team, but I do like the overall versatility that it affords. I also can't help but think that this is Intelligence Systems' slight tribute to Camilla's tendency to love her siblings, and all of her Norian siblings just happen to be cavalry units as well. While not exactly the powerhouse change I was hoping for, the axe does give Camilla more of a team player role, while boosting her own overall offensive power, which isn't something to be understated. When compared to the popular Slaying Axe Plus choice, with speed refinement, Camilla's Axe gets 6 more total attack, 2 from the weapon itself and 4 from the self-goad, 1 more speed from the self-goad, and -2 HP. Of course, you also trade the -1 cooldown effect from the Slaying Axe for the +3 attack and speed effect on allies from Camilla's Axe. If you opt to go for the speed refinement for Camilla's Axe instead of her unique refinement, it ends up giving her a +6 attack, +4 speed, and a -2 HP when compared to the Slaying Axe. This is a notable difference in power, and while the -1 cooldown effect from the Slaying Axe was critical to her previous build due to the mediocre attack stat she has, the supplemental attack and speed from Camilla's Axe makes her hit that much harder without the need for the special proc. As for which one's better, it ultimately depends on your playstyle. Camilla's Axe isn't necessarily a straight upgrade from Slaying Axe. It provides interesting team utility, making Camilla an overall much better team player, as well as increasing her general engagement stats. Let's take a look at an example build. This example build combines her previous role as a mage tanker and her new role as a team player. Draconic Aura takes advantage of Camilla's new powerful attacking stats, as it outdamages Iceberg even with just the self-goad effect. And Distant Counter lets her continue to shut down enemy mage threats. Chill Defense in her B slot allows everyone on her team to take advantage of a map-wide debuff to the enemy defensive stat. Part of the reason for this is that Camilla doesn't really rely on quick riposte to secure doubles. When properly flyer buffed, a plus speed Camilla can reach upwards of 53 speed at 0 merges. If you opt to go for a speed refinement on Camilla's axe, that 53 goes up to 56, and this is all without any stat boosting A slot skills like Swift Sparrow or Darting Blow. Further, she doesn't have that stinging one-shot nuke that most Vantage users rely on. This makes her a prime candidate for a chill skill. However, a more budget option would involve Renewal, to allow Camilla to self-sustain throughout longer engagements, or the ever-popular Hit and Run or Drag Back, which is always a flyer favorite for additional maneuverability. Despite what I said earlier, Quick Riposte is still an option for the B slot if you are not running an optimally buffed flyer team, in order to secure those doubles on enemy phase. Goad Flyers in the C slot and Spur Attack 3 or Drive Attack 2 in the Seal rounds out her support functions in this flyer team. With this combination and her axe, she alone grants nearby flyers plus 10 attack and plus 7 speed in combat buffs, which is huge. This second example build fully adopts Camilla into the more offensive powerhouse that she can be with her new axe. Fury adds to Camilla's overall bulk and offensive stats, while pushing her into desperation range closer and closer with each engagement. Goad Flyers is an excellent C-slot option as always for flying units, and her considerable res allows her to run Defense Ploy 3 in her Seal slot, effectively giving her and her entire team even more damage, stacked on top of her existing buffs. Instead of Desperation, you can also opt to run Hit and Run or Drag Back as effective options for additional mobility in a flyer team. This build fully takes advantage of Camilla's new bonus stats on offense, and if you opt to go with the Speed Refinement on Camilla's axe, she reaches 67 attack and 59 speed when fully flyer buffed. And by fully flyer buffed, I mean 1 hone and 2 goads. And with these new attack thresholds, once again, Draconic Aura outdamages Iceberg for her special. Now, just to reiterate, these are just example builds and food for thought so that you can come up with your own ideas in how to utilize Camilla's axe into your Camilla. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some good pairings for Camilla and her shiny brand new axe. Naturally, Camilla feels right at home in a flyer team, and the predominant flyer pairings of Hinoka and Wings of Fate Hinoka both provide excellent support for Camilla for various reasons. Hinoka has her own self-goad and guidance effect with her refinement, which stacks on Camilla's, and Wings of Fate Hinoka has her own spur effect on her legendary bow, as well as flyer guidance. Elincia is a powerful offensive red flyer that complements Camilla as a tanky green. Cordelia is another very popular offensively oriented Blue Lance flyer that will greatly appreciate the stacked goads and spurs afforded by Camilla's axe. Erica and Sword Reinhardt are 2 red cavalry units who are offensively oriented and benefit greatly from the buffs and synergy that Camilla's axe offers. In addition to providing some great weapon triangle coverage, Camilla as a flyer can reposition Erica or Reinhardt over trenches to get around these obstacles that hinder their movement. And that about wraps it up for my first look analysis at the new Camilla's Axe Legendary Weapon Refinement that just dropped in Fire Emblem Heroes. We will likely be releasing a full guide for Camilla at a later date now that we have her axe and it has been released, so please be on the lookout for that. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. As always, we thank you so much for watching, we really appreciate it, and until next time, let's protect those skies.